My name is Marisa Halpin, and the following is a presentation for my HR functions class in my MBA program at Fitchburg State University. This presentation looks at HR management, the effects, consequences, and success that comes along with it. I hope you enjoy. Everyone wants to be successful in what they do. No one goes into any role, I would assume, with the intention of making the organization or department worse off than it was before. Then why do some managers not succeed? Why do some teams fail? This presentation is designed to take a look at what goes into a successful team and the manager behind it. But more than that, I will reflect upon my own experiences with management and the mistakes that I have made along the way. More importantly, I'll discuss my plan for the future and show ways that I can be a better leader moving forward. Before we go any further, we need to make sure that goals are established, as success does not look the same for everyone. As a leader, I wish to pull out the best in people around me, and success in my eyes is reflected by employee growth and satisfaction, high retention levels, and making sure that employees are hitting their own personal goals, as well as departmental and organizational goals. These are all things that, as a manager, I do have a strong influence over. The following slide will show how these will be obtained. My personal goals for a successful team are as followed. Hiring those to grow within the organization, not just having a place filler for that job. We want to make sure that those being hired embodied more than just the skills to complete one singular task. Appropriate training. We don't want to just throw books and clients at our new hires. We want to train them on the company as a whole. Trusting and giving accountability. At some point, your employee will be ready to fly on their own, and at this point, holding accountability is going to be incredibly important for managers and employees alike. And finally, motivating and rewarding your team appropriately. The hiring process. One way to make sure that you are setting both yourself and your team up for success is by truly investing in the staffing process. Your first step of this process is to do an outline, not just of the job itself, but a full job analysis. What is the job description? What hard skills does someone need for this job? What soft skills do they need? Some jobs require certain credentials, like an RN license, CPA status, project management certification, things like that. As important as soft skills can be, I think we can all agree that no one wants their taxes done by someone who does not have an accounting background. From there, the search can begin. As the resumes start to pile up, ideally, it can be overwhelming to sort through. And this is where we need to start automatically disqualifying candidates that are not a fit. A great way to do this is by making the application process a bit more thoughtful. Please note that I did not say complicated. Candidates can see right through a tedious application process, and we don't want to drive away those who are used to being effective. However, a thoughtful application may include a few open-ended questions to determine motive and fit within the company. From there, we can move to the fun part. The next step would ideally include some type of AI technology. The rise of AI technology in staffing has been on the rise for a while, and recruiters are finding it to be a useful tool when it comes to screening candidates. Some of the most popular forms of AI come in the form of personality assessments, such as the Myers-Briggs test, Berkman method, personality assessment inventory, and many more. These can help track personality fits within an organization and track consistency in answers so that is apparent if someone were trying to be deceitful. From here, We can move on to the traditional phone interview and in-person interview, as someone at this point is more likely to be deemed a technical fit as well as a potential cultural fit. Ideally, these interviews would be done by several different people within the organization so that biases can be checked and many different opinions can be shared. Training. After this individual is hired, the next task at hand is appropriate training. We can assume the individual hired shares many of the same values as the company if the prior steps were followed. Therefore, we want to train them thoroughly on those values. Values are the guiding light of every company, and decisions will be easier for those who understand the bigger picture. Employees should feel welcome and provided the resources that they need to succeed. Research confirms that those who invest more in their training programs for new hires see higher retention rates and earlier goal hitting for those new hires. The longer that those are in training and the more rigorous that training is, the more likely those are going to remember that training at hand. Trust and accountability. After the training wheels are off and employees start to settle in, accountability really determines the growth rate of your employees. There are several ways that you as a manager can drop the ball at this, myself included, even if the intentions are good-natured. One of those ways is by never letting them fail or make a mistake. Although we should never let major mistakes happen if they can be prevented, managers need to be a bit more hands-off and allow their employees to manage their own projects. If mistakes are made, they can be used as a lesson learned. They can also be used to see where additional training may be needed, especially when we take a look at KPIs and if those are being hit. However, if you as the manager are always micromanaging employee projects, they lose out on a learning experience. They also fail to develop the confidence that they need in order to make decisions for their own projects. This stunts their ability to own their problems and solutions, ultimately adding more work to a manager's plate. It also cuts the employee's ability to grow, which can result in turnover or burnout. The final item that was mentioned was the idea of rewarding and motivating your employees. All employees are not created the same, and their compensation packages and rewards should reflect that. To some employees, the ability to work from home may be much more important than having a few extra personal days. If a company truly cares about the happiness of their employees, things such as this should be granted, assuming that none of the requests are outrageous. The most important job of the managers is to make sure employees, above all, are not demotivated by their presence. With the right support, employees will be self-motivated. However, managers need to be able to provide them that space so that they can be. Final thoughts. If all of the suggestions are followed, there's a strong likelihood that the personal goals of the manager, retention, satisfaction, and attainment of KPIs and goals should be hit, and employees will be happy. Thank you.